Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. So I am going to be giving you the 5 players that Manchester United could sign instead of Jadon Sancho. Now one of those players is Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. Now my only element of concern about Ousmane Dembele is that he is injury prone. He has sustained quite a few injuries as a Barcelona player. Ousmane Dembele has endured around 3 years with Barcelona. He has got a contract with Barcelona until 2022. Now Barcelona did get him in a deal with around £140 million. I think Barcelona did pay like 90 odd million pounds up front with 30 or 40 million in add-ons. But I thought Ousmane Dembele was a very good player during his time with Borussia Dortmund. Before he was at Borussia Dortmund, he was at Rennes, so he began his footballing career in France. And he's still only very young. So if he did come to the Premier League, do you think he would exceed expectations? We know if Barcelona do sell him, they won't recoup, nowhere near what they paid for him. They'll get less than what they paid for him. But yeah, Ousmane Dembele would be a much cheaper solution than Jadon Sancho. You're probably talking around £60 million for Ousmane Dembele at an estimated guess. Now, another one of the players that we are looking at as an alternative to Sancho, and that is Douglas Costa from Juventus. Now, I give you the news regarding Douglas Costa recently. It did say from the Italian press that we'd put a £27 million bid in for Douglas Costa, but reportedly this had been rejected by Juventus. I think Juventus are looking for like £36 million. Tuttosport did recently say that Juventus have revealed their asking price for Douglas Costa, and it said, he's available for just £18 million. But same sort of thing as what I've just said regarding Ousmane Dembele. My element of concern is that Douglas Costa is injury prone. Didn't really have a perception on him for the vast majority of last season, because don't forget he was out with an ankle injury. Now Douglas Costa has endured a few years with Juventus. I think he's endured around 3 years with them. Douglas Costa has got a contract with Juventus until 2022. Juventus did pay around €40 million for him, plus bonuses. I think €40 million equates to around 36 million in pounds sterling. But he was on loan with Juventus at the first. He did win the domestic double in his first season with Juventus. Before he was at Juventus, he was at Bayern Munich. He endured around 3 years with them, won a few titles with them. And before that, he was at Shakhtar Donetsk. He endured around 5 years with Shakhtar Donetsk, and he won the domestic treble with Shakhtar Donetsk. And before he was at Shakhtar Donetsk, he was at Romero. But Douglas Costa is a good player, predominantly a winner. Passing very good, can create chances, can also cross the ball very well, and he is in his late 20s. I think Douglas Costa has made like 101 appearances for Juventus in all competitions, but we have inquired about his availability before. Another one of the players we are looking at is Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich. Now, I'll give you an update on Kingsley Coman on my recent video that I did. I still think it is uploading. Now, we have inquired about getting him on loan if we don't get Sancho in. It said last month that we'd inquired about getting Kingsley Coman on loan. Now, Bayern Munich did recently win the Champions League. They beaten PSG in the final 1-0, and it was Kingsley Coman that had scored the goal. Now, Bayern Munich have won the Champions League 6 times. But I think from our perspective, we are convinced that Bayern Munich are not determined to sell Kingsley Coman. Now, Kingsley Coman has endured a few years with Bayern Munich. Obviously, he's been a permanent Bayern Munich player for around 3 years, because don't forget he did endure 2 years on loan with Bayern Munich from 2015 to 2017. Bayern Munich did pay around €7 million to get him on loan. But they did pay around €21 million, was it, to get him permanently. And he has won trophies with Bayern Munich. He has got a contract with them until 2023. Obviously, before he was at Munich, he was at Juventus. Before he was at Juventus, he was at Paris Saint-Germain, and I think he's only the age of 24. Kingsley Coman is predominantly a right winger. So, do you think Man United should get him in? Do you think he'll follow the footsteps of Arjen Robben and Frank Ribery? Because obviously they left Bayern Munich. So, yeah. Another one of the players we are looking at, and that is David Brooks from Bournemouth. Now, we have been given a boost in our pursuit of David Brooks, because reportedly Bournemouth have come out and made a transfer admission saying that all their players are up for sale. Don't forget, Bournemouth have just recently lost Nathan Ake to Man City, but they did get £41 million in Bournemouth. Reportedly they've put Callum Wilson up for sale. We inquired about the availability of Joshua King on deadline day in January. So there you go. I think a lot of Manchester United fans would like to see David Brooks come into the football club, because I think he's been a standout player for Bournemouth since his arrival. Obviously, Bournemouth did pay £11.5 million for him from Sheffield United back in 2018. So he's been at Bournemouth a couple of years. He has got a contract with Bournemouth, is it, until 2022. And David Brooks is available for around £40 million. Bournemouth did recently get relegated from the Premier League. Bournemouth did endure 5 years in the Premier League. David Brooks also had a loan spell with Halifax. He served 10 years with Manchester City during his youth career. And he is in his 20s now, is David Brooks. And he is predominantly a winner. But again, much cheaper solution than Jadon Sancho. And another one of the players we could get instead of Sancho, and that is Jack Grealish from Aston Villa. Now, don't forget, Jack Grealish is one of our priority targets. Now, it recently said that we could offer Sergio Romero to Aston Villa as part of a swap deal of us getting Jack Grealish. Now, I think Romero is open to leaving the football club. Obviously, throughout the course of last season, Romero played all our League Cup games. He played all our FA Cup games prior to the semi-final. And I think he played all our Europa League games prior to the semi-final. Romero's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for the further year. Last time I read up about it, it said that Chelsea, Everton and Leeds were interested in Romero. We'd probably demand around £5 or £6 million for him. Romero has enjoyed 5 years at the club. We got him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015. And I think Romero's kept 39 clean sheets in 61 games. But Romero's obviously our backup goalkeeper. But I don't think, want to pay up to £80 million for Jack Grealish, because Villa, have said that they want £80 million for him. Jack Grealish could remain at Aston Villa for this season. Obviously, Villa did avoid relegation last season, but I said if Villa would have got relegated, then I would have fully assured that Jack Grealish would have left. Up until this point, Jack Grealish has spent the entirety of his career with Villa. He's been a Villa player since the age of 6, and he has been in their senior squad since 2014. And, he has got a contract with Aston Villa until 2023. The other week, I think he was on holiday in Greece and he was doing some training sessions, and it said he was going to hold talks with Aston Villa regarding his future. But I'd take Jack Grealish at Manchester United. Main explanations is because he's well proven in the Premier League. His stats were very, very good throughout the course of last season. His versatility is also very, very good. And I think he's only the age of 24, so he's still very, very young. But obviously, from now to the end of his career, he will obviously, stay with Aston Villa. He'll obviously, follow the footsteps of James Milner and Gareth Barry and all of that. So, yeah. So, they are the 5 players, we could sign instead of Sancho. You already know the news regarding Sancho anyway. it says, we have now given up on Sancho, so we have made our decision. Borussia Dortmund do remain ruthless over their valuation because they have said that they want around £108 million, and we are not determined to pay what Borussia Dortmund are demanding. I think it said, we're only willing to pay like 60 or 70 million pounds up front. I think it said that Dortmund have been looking for like 90 million pounds up front. So I think, we'll look to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer of 2021. Sebastian Kell, who's one of Borussia Dortmund's directors, he recently said that Sancho is happy at Dortmund and he says he will stay at Dortmund for one more season. So he's basically saying the exact same thing as what Borussia Dortmund's CEO and sporting director said, because they said that Sancho's staying at Dortmund and the decision is final. He did recently say, though, from the Daily Express that Man United and Sancho had come to an agreement on a contract. Not only the asking price is now a stumbling block, the personal terms and the agent fee have also proven to be an issue. And I heard that Sancho's commanding around £300,000 a week. Now, obviously, quite a few weeks ago, it was looking very, very imminent that Sancho would have been signing for Man United, because obviously Fabrizio Romero came out, who was a very reliable Italian journalist. He said that, Sancho had agreed personal terms with Man United. He said that negotiations were at an advanced stage, and he said that Sancho was set to sign a 5-year contract with the club worth around £250,000 a week. And I think at one point it said that a fee had come to an agreement, but just after that, it said that talks had broken down. So probably Sancho's going to remain at Dortmund for this season. Obviously, Sancho has endured 3 years with Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, Dortmund got him back in 2017 from Manchester City. Dortmund did pay just £8 million for him. But I said if Sancho was to be sold in this summer transfer window, Manchester City would get like 15% of the transfer fee due to the sell-on clause. The main explanation why I left Manchester City is because he did not get assured any first-team opportunities. And before he was at City, he was at Watford. And he was at Watford from the age of 7 to the age of 14. So he was there for several years. But Sancho is our number one priority target. And I think we've been in for him for the last few years because we first expressed our interest in him in 2017. Now, we've missed out on the deadline to sign him anyway because Borussia Dortmund made it clear that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. Obviously, Sancho decided to go on pre-season. We already made a promise to Sancho that we was willing to offer him the number 7 because we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations, and obviously we have got number 7 vacant at the moment. And I said, he'd full number 7 well, and I've outlined the reasons why I want Sancho at Manchester United. Is because obviously he's got a good friendship with Rashford, he's predominantly a right winger, and he would dramatically improve us. And he's still got a lot of development in him. He is only the age of 20, or is he now 21 years of age? But I think over £100 million is too much for Sancho, because I said if we'd have met their valuation, then he would have been our most expensive signing and the most expensive English player in history. But we are known for spending big on players, like I've said to you. We paid £89 million for Pogba, £75 million for Lukaku, £80 million for Maguire, £50 million for Fred, £40 million for Matic. So we are known for doing that. But I think even Ed Woodward's now come to accept the fact, we won't be getting him. So, we have abandoned our pursuit of the player. But there's still some Man United fans saying, we shouldn't give up. We've just got to try and do everything we can to convince him to come to the club. So, there you go. By the way, Bruno Fernandes is tipped to become Manchester United's next captain. I think, we should give the captaincy to Bruno Fernandes anyway, because he does show fantastic leadership in the team. Now, Bruno Fernandes has been exceptional for Man United since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon in January. We did get Bruno Fernandes in a deal, was it worth like 40 odd million pounds, which could actually rise up to 60 odd million pounds. And he did sign a 5.5-year deal with the football club. I think Bruno Fernandes has scored, 12 or 13 goals in all competitions since his arrival from Lisbon, and he has won Premier League Player of the Month 3 times, reflecting on his good run of performances. Bruno Fernandes is definitely one of the best players we have recruited in since the Ferguson era, and he's definitely made the difference in the team. I said if we don't give the captain to Bruno Fernandes, then possibly give it to Paul Pogba, because he also shows fantastic leadership in the team. But yeah, this is according to Bruno Fernandes' former boss. He thinks he'll become Man United's captain in the future. Our current captain at the moment is Harry Maguire, and Solskjaer's definitely got to take the captaincy of Harry Maguire, because I don't think Harry Maguire is good enough to captain the team, because like I've said before, doesn't really show any good leadership. But we give Harry Maguire the captaincy, reflecting on Ashley Young's departure back in January. Obviously, this season will be Harry Maguire's second season at Manchester United. Obviously, last season was Harry Maguire's first season at the club. And I give him my perception on it, how he did. He had some good games, but he also had some bad games. Harry Maguire has scored 3 goals for the football club, I think, so far. Scored in the 2-0 away win against Chelsea in the league in February. Scored in the game against Tranmere when we beat them 6-0 in the FA Cup. And scored in a 2-1 win against Norwich in the FA Cup quarter final. We did get Harry Maguire in a deal worth £80 million last summer from Leicester. So he's the second most expensive signing at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world. Now, recent reports have said that Harry Maguire could end up paying £90,000 to avoid going to jail for 3 years. And him and his friends have racked a £63,000 bar bill. Now, Harry Maguire recently was in court in Greece for allegedly attacking police, and he did not plead guilty to charges, and reflects on that, he was released from police custody recently. So Harry Maguire did get arrested, so too did 2 other men, reflecting on the incident. Don't forget, Harry Maguire did spend a couple of nights in the Greek cells. And obviously, reflects on this and that, Manchester United released a statement on Friday. And we also released a statement on Saturday after he appeared in court. I think he's got a court hearing to go to Greece, is it? Tomorrow, I think that is, by the way. So I don't think Harry Maguire's going to be going back to Greece and that. But there's definitely aspects of Harry Maguire's game that have got to improve. Now, there's a few things that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to do at Manchester United before the game against Crystal Palace on the opening day of the Premier League season. Now, I think Solskjaer has got to make some signings before we play Crystal Palace. We have not yet made any signings so far in this summer transfer window. And the summer transfer window has been open now, is it 4 weeks or just under 4 weeks? So we have to, we've got to start making signings. I think that Dean Henderson needs to be put as our number 1. Solskjaer's definitely got to put Dean Henderson in net for the opening game against Crystal Palace, because I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1 goalkeeper, because he's just recently enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and Dean Henderson was Sheffield United's player of the season. Now, Solskjaer said Dean Henderson's not yet ready to become number 1, and it says that Solskjaer's planning to loan Dean Henderson out again for another season to get a bit more experience behind him, but we know he won't be getting loaned back out to Sheffield United, because obviously Sheffield United have just recently got Aaron Ramsdale from Bournemouth. It did recently say that Dean Henderson is close to signing a 4-year contract on Man United worth around $100,000 a week. Obviously, this would make Dean Henderson one of the highest paid goalkeepers in the world. It was only last year Dean Henderson had signed a new contract with Man United worth 60 grand a week, and his current contract with us expires in 2022. But Dean Henderson has had quite a few loan spells with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. We got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at the age of 14. So yeah, but David De Gea has been our number one for several years, and Solskjaer did recently say he wants De Gea to remain at least number one for another season. But I think David De Gea now is too much of a liability. Obviously, he's been poor in the last couple of years. He's made a lot of calamitous mistakes. I think De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United. This season I think will be David De Gea's 10th season at the football club. De Gea has made 405 appearances for us in all competitions and around 300 odd appearances in the Premier League. David De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. We won't sell De Gea in this summer transfer window, but if we did, I think we'd probably get around £60 million for him. When he was the best in the world, De Gea was worth around £100 million. We did pay just over £18 million for De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. But I said, when De Gea does leave Manchester United, he will go back to Spain. Solskjaer said that De Gea has been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years. So he is facing a goalkeeping dilemma, Solskjaer. Like he said before our game against Copenhagen in the Europa League, he said it's going to be extremely difficult for us to keep Romero, Henderson and De Gea all at the football club for this season. I think before the game against Palace, we need to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the football club. Now, there was very positive news coming out regarding Paul Pogba yesterday, like I updated you on, because his agent, Mini Raiola, confirmed that Pogba is staying at Manchester United this summer, and he said that he will hold talks over a new contract. Now, as it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. It did say a few weeks before the end of last season that Paul Pogba was close to signing a 5-year contract with Manchester United. Fabrizio Romano came out not too long ago. He said that Paul Pogba's happy at Manchester United, and he said he wants to stay at the football club. So it's looking likely, we are going to end the uncertainty over his future. Now, as it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. He's obviously one of the highest paid players at the football club as well. But Pogba has had a long running transfer saga because around this time last year, Paul Pogba made an admission saying that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was, seeking for a new challenge and that. Real Madrid were relentless linked to him. There was talks about him going back to Juventus. Don't forget PSG, Bayern Munich and Inter Milan. Not Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Inter Milan, were interested in him. But I think Paul Pogba's combination with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield's been fantastic. For the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on Paul Pogba because he was out with that ankle injury. Pogba sustained a few injuries as a Man United player. He recently celebrated his 4-year anniversary at the club. But I thought at the end of last season, Paul Pogba did very, very well. And he did well in some of our Europa League games. But I'm glad we're keeping him at the club because we'd find it hard to get a replacement of his calibre, Paul Pogba's. So yeah. And I think Solskjaer's got to get rid of some more players. Obviously, before we kick off against Crystal Palace. Solskjaer obviously wants to get rid of more of the Deadwood at the football club anyway, because we've obviously seen a hell of a lot of players leave since Solskjaer came in. Obviously we've seen players like Angel Gomez leave, Sanchez, Tahith Chong, he recently went out on loan. Ander Herrera, Marian Fellaini, Darmian, Valencia, Young, Lukaku, they've all left the football club since Solskjaer came in. Obviously, we loaned Smalling and Rojo out, but obviously now they are back at Manchester United. So it is good that he has got rid of a lot of the Deadwood. It really, really is. But the players we are looking to get rid of in this summer transfer window is Jesse Lingard. He's part of the Deadwood. Get rid of Andres Pereira. We're looking to get rid of Smalling and Rojo. Also looking to get rid of Phil Jones. We'll be also looking to get rid of Diego Dalot. Some United fans will say we need to get rid of Bay, not because he's a bad centre-half, he's just injury prone. Some United fans will say get rid of Victor Lindelof because some United fans don't think he's good enough to represent Man United. But we are definitely going to get rid of more players. But at the end of last season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer outlined his transfer plans, and he said he wants Man United to make at least 3 signings in this summer transfer window, and he instructed our board to go and get his preferred targets. And I think he's urged Man United to spend a substantial amount in this summer transfer window. And as you all know, Solskjaer's identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. Obviously, he's looking to bring a right winger in, looking to bring a holding midfielder in. We're also looking to bring a centre-half in, despite the fact that we've got 7 centre-halves in the team. Some United fans, would like to see a left-back come in. We have got 2 predominant left-backs, and that's Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams. So, yeah, definitely more signings are needed at Manchester United. But like I've recently said to you, these teams now around us that are recruiting. And this season is definitely a big test for Solskjaer, because this season he's going to have bigger expectations to exceed. Our expectations this season will be to challenge for the Premier League title. And the other expectation will be to win a trophy, because we've not yet won a trophy under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and we haven't won a major honour for over 3 years. The last time we won a trophy was back under Jose Mourinho when we won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season at Manchester United. And I also want to see improvements this season. But this season's going to be Solskjaer's second full season at the club. Last season was his first full season at the football club. And to be honest with you, I thought he did well in his first full season. He exceeded most of his expectations. Obviously got us to 3 semi-finals, got us to the FA Cup semi-final, got us to the Europa League semi-final, and got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. But like Solskjaer said, semi-finals are not good enough. Also, too, got us qualification for the Champions League, and we also finished 3rd. But the first part of last season, you wouldn't have thought Solskjaer would have exceeded any of his expectations, because we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. But Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now a good 19 and a half months. And, like I said, I have seen improvements under him, and I've taken positives from his tenure so far. Like I said, our recruitment's improved under him. So far, Solskjaer spent just over £200 million at Man United. I think he promoted the youth very, very well last season. His approach to a lot of the big games last season were very, very good. Obviously we've looked better since January, because we haven't lost in the league since January. We are unbeaten in our last 14 league games. We did go on the 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions, until Chelsea beating us in the FA Cup semi-final. But there's still improvements needed at Man United. I think there's definitely certain players that have got to improve. Harry Maguire's got to improve. Lindelof's got to improve. And Wan-Bissaki's got to improve. We need to see more attacking intent from Wan-Bissaka. That's the only thing that's letting him down. De Gea's got to stop making mistakes. I think, there's still aspects of Rashford's game that's got to improve. Maybe there's still some aspects of Matic's game that's got to improve, and that. I think Solskjaer's definitely got to improve his decision making. Because a lot last season Solskjaer was very tactically naive, but there again there was some games where he showed tactical flexibility. There's aspects of our game that have got to improve as well. We've got to be slightly more clinical in front of goal. Defensively we need to improve and all of that. So there's still a lot of improvements needed at Manchester United. There really, really is. But I'm hopeful that we can win a trophy under Solskjaer, and I'm hopeful that we can win a title under Solskjaer. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. You know, last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season and that. But in the last 7 years, we've been playing catch-up. Like I've said to you before, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We spent £900 million on players since Ferguson's retirement, and we've recruited a good 32, 33 players in since Ferguson left. But there's been a lot of issues at the club for several years, with, you know, with the managers, with certain players. You know, Deadwood with the Glazers, they've been a problem, you know, for several years as well. But yeah. So Solskjaer does deserve more time at Manchester United. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes, on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.